my dear friends and students. Welcome to another video about the English literature. When we talk about myths and legends of England, the first thing that comes to our mind is the story of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. This story exists for many ages, and since England exists, the story exists. But have you ever wondered how it was actually created? Who created the story that we have nowadays? In the medieval times, there was one man called Sir Thomas Malory. He decided that the best thing he could do in his life is to create a perfect story about King Arthur, the true story of King Arthur. He called it Morte d'Arthur, the death of King Arthur. Such a strong name for such a beautiful story, but in that period, in medieval ages, many stories about King Arthur existed, but none of them actually gave the whole image. None of them actually gave the whole story, every single plot, everything, because it's a complex story that it has many plots, and somehow each story that existed in that time included and excluded something that actually didn't happen or happened. So, Sir Thomas Malory decided to collect all stories and create the perfect one, the story of everything that happened about King Arthur. He had two inspirations and two sources when he wrote this book. First one is a 13th century manuscript Vulgata. It's a French manuscript that consists of the story, and a 14th century poem called Morte d'Arthur, in which actually was his inspiration. The story of King Arthur had 8 books. First one and the second one deals the story of King Arthur's childhood, his birth, his childhood, his early ages. Third and the 5th book consists the stories of his most famous knights, Tristram, Lancelot, who messed up everything pretty much, and Geralt. And 6th book is a story of a Holy Grail, and actually what is Holy Grail, what it deals with, why is that so important for them, and actually their adventure and their goal to find the Holy Grail. And this 7th one consists the relationship between Lancelot, most famous one knight, and Guinevere, the wife of King Arthur. And the 8th one is the story of the downfall and the destruction of King Arthur's kingdom. What actually is Morte d'Arthur is a lament about the past, about the chivalry and the courtesy ages, about the times when we had knights and when everything seems to be perfect. Sir Thomas Malory actually laments about his own life. He laments about his past and the perfection or something that he used to have but he does not have anymore. The story of King Arthur and his knights is presented in a way that shows how once the perfection actually existed, the male power actually existed. And the story of King Arthur actually shows up. Arthur is actually a story that shows up that when people are united, everything can be done. But also it shows up how mortal we are and how everything what is perfect can be destroyed because of our mortal desires. This story presented one beautiful period and one great king, King Arthur, who had that power that he did not even know, and he actually found out that he was perfect king of England actually by the accident, when he accidentally pulled out his Excalibur sword. And for the end, which is the most interesting thing about everything, is that this perfect story, this clear story and myth and legend about the English literature and about England, is that its own writer, Sir Thomas Malory, wrote it while he was in jail. He was imprisoned because he was charged for robbery, murder, and rape. Such a complex and negative and evil man wrote such a great and perfect book. Thank you for watching and subscribe.